or whether they want to go for something in the jungle, maybe want to change things up. But no, the Corki looks like it will be the answer for Weibo. IG, though, kind of have to show a little bit here because the Skarner's already gone, the Leona's banned away. All of the picks that you could go for that just plug into any composition feel like they've been taken off the board already. I
am surprised IG would ban Skarner if they're going red side, you know. Oh. That is... Oh, you did it! Okay, it's not the greatest for Tarzan. It is for GLFS, though. Neny also picking up that LeBlanc. Very, very aggressive mid-jungle from Invictus Gaming.
It certainly is. GLFS going for a carry, wanting to take things into his own hands. He's played Graves twice this split. 100% win rate, 33 KDA. He has looked good on the Graves. IG with some playmakers to work with going into game number 2. Weibo, though, sticking to the game plan, slamming an AP jungler. No, swapping to the Renekton for Breathe at the last second.
So the Renekton, really lane dominant, trying to put YSKM into a position where he can't use his own laning strength. Yeah, you are looking for an AP jungler at this point. You don't have that Ziggs, and you didn't lock in any kind of magic damage towards your top side either. You need to go towards something there. They did hover over that Zyra earlier. Interested to see what Tarzan wants to fit in. You have most stuff available.
Lots available here for Weibo, but not going to go for the jungler just yet. Instead, going to get Crisp onto that rel. So, setup available, strong top laner available, but whether or not they actually get any AP junglers left in the second phase will be a different question entirely. As IG now already got their jungle.
So, Light can still go towards Kai'Sa. That's your other AP option in regards to not being jungled. You could go towards another initiator for Tarzan. You can actually, at this point, see, you have Rel, you have Renekton. You could go for a Nidalee, too, if it's not going to be something like the Karthus, Zyra, more hard carry, late game team fight jungler. I think you do have enough setup to make that happen, and Tarzan's been happy to play that one as well. A lot of bans towards that. For IG, they're going to have a lot of their engaged supports removed at this point, and that means that Vampire is going to be in a not great position. So yeah, I'm interested to see now how the teamfight engage comes out of IG, because I feel like a lot of that's just going to be gone.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, in terms of AP bots as well, like, you can get real spicy with that as a pick, but whether or not Weibo really want to be getting spicy in this draft when upper bracket is on the line. I keep saying bracket, it's not really a bracket, it's a group, but upper group is on the line. You want something that is fairly standard. You want something that you can comfortably pilot. Yeah, YSK fully reclined. Fully reclined.
Man, no stress there. We're on Matt, you know, a point which could, a game which could send us out of lower group. Who cares about it? IG banning away all of the arboreal threats towards Tarzan. There is still that Karthus available. There's still the Lilia as well, and the Nidalee. Plenty of options in regards to jungle. They can still go towards that Kai'Sa as well, if they particularly want to. I'm quite interested to see what IG go towards. I mean, yes, they've been... suppose it's the aggressive bot laners which have been banned away from Arn, so they can't take over that laning phase, which could give Light and Crisp the more ease of access to play something like a Kai'Sa when it's not against the Kalista or the Draven.
Kai'Sa, a pick as well that does particularly well into the Ziggs later on in the game. You can find those all-ins if you're 1v1 in the bottom side and you land your W, but also you just outrange the Ziggs in terms of poke later on into the game. Could be an option for Light. Light's certainly a capable AD carry when it comes to picks like that. But we're going to go for the jungle first here. The brand does come on through anyway. And there's that Kai'Sa that you talked about.
Make a lot of sense to lock that one in. But now you already have your magic damage. You're not locked into the Kai'Sa. You can go towards that if you want to give Light the assassination potential. The Ezreal, stronger in early game. Stronger at quite a lot of the game right now than Kai'Sa. And also just much more easy to leave alone early into things. You can just keep poking out with your Q and keep farming. So either one is completely fine. To go towards that Ezreal will be more consistently long range. Now you can play towards rockets and you can play towards the Ezreal to match range a little bit with the Ziggs, who of course has the longest range on the field right now. Vampire needs team fight engage. He will be the only engage. I have to say, it's going to be quite a difficult game for him, because when you are playing as the sole engage threat, which you are right now, and that's why YSKM gets some miracle flanks, all you have to do is pay attention to that Alistar. On the other side, because you have the Renekton with the point-and-click stun, and you have so much follow-up damage from everyone else, I feel like Weibo have the easier job of engaging. I guess it's a little bit harder on both sides, because there's no secondary teamfight engage from either side, but I still think that Weibo probably come away with just about an easier comp to play.
Does feel like if everyone groups up, you know, Rel, Renekton spinning around, Brandel in there with the 2 long-range carries blasting, it's a fairly easy team fight to play out, but that's a question of whether or not we actually get just a straight-up 5v5 team fight like that. LeBlanc in the mix, Ziggs and Graves all dashing around, throwing bombs in from range. Not necessarily going to be able to just get that front-to-back that you perhaps want for yourselves. Only time will tell. This is going to be an interesting one because Weibo have yet to look consistent in a single series across the course of this year. Maybe this is their first time. Maybe this is their chance as they are on the cusp of that upper group. But Invictus Gaming stand in their way, and Invictus Gaming will not want to go down without a fight because, again, if they win this series, they can make it to the upper group. They can prove everybody wrong. Nobody expected much from this roster at the start of the year. And yet, here they are, contending for a position in the upper group. This is their opportunity to shut down Weibo and show us all what they are made of.
Tell you what, there are a lot of IG fans in the house. It's been a while since IG have had notable results, so it's worth kind of calling out the fact that the fans are starting to get a little bit behind this team. First round robin was pretty awful. Second round robin, a lot better from them. And it feels like some of the fans have still managed to hold on for this very last series to see if they can make it through.
Certainly feels that way. Xiaohu trying to get a ward down.
Oh!
Couldn't quite get a quick enough auto reset there for GLFS. Will be spotted on his chickens.
Tarzan, not quite spot on the other side just yet. Xiaohu's going to walk over and get himself a good trade there. Also denies the first strike proc from Neny. So Neny doesn't get the first strike, loses a huge amount of HP to that level 1 Gatling gun. It is the double first strike over from IG. If Xiaohu suddenly... I can't believe he's had an entire year of really not having good games. If he ends up getting this series to go through after the triple kill and then early lane dominance, maybe we'll see if that can continue in this game. That would be just so fitting for Weibo.
It really would. It would epitomise this team for me, honestly, as Vampire gets a knock-up onto Crisp. Ziggs does surprisingly decent in the level 1 trades, considering his passive and his Q. It does quite a lot of damage, but knocked up here and gives Light an opportunity to get a bit of damage down. I mean, Neny just zoned a million miles away. Hey, like, losing that level 1 trade off the back of warding for your jungler, and then Xiaohu just gets that open fire. This is going to feel really, really rough, and it's going to be a little while before things start to feel more even again for Neny, because you don't get to get that HP back.
Oh, Breathe also laning phase has been pretty spectacular. I think that Breathe... How do you view Breathe? Breathe is one of those players which I think, given the state of Weibo, deserves a lot of props. He has had 1 or 2 bad games, but he's also been probably the best performing member of Weibo so far in the entirety of the group stage, even in their worst games. Tarzan found out by GLFS.
Smoke screen comes down. That's going to be the passive proc for Tarzan, but that's all Tarzan's got for a while. Neny trades aggressively onto Xiaohu's. GLFS starts his blue buff now, but Tarzan, he's not done with this action just yet. Remember, that ward was already on the blue buff, so he had full vision of GLFS. Crisp has moved over. Tarzan really wants to steal this away. Light on his way, but Arn a level advantage over Light, so that's not a 1v1 that Light actually wants anymore, and Arn's chasing for more as double pillar of flame comes through from Tarzan. GLFS is burning, and that's first blood for Crisp. Rejoins the roster and starts game 2 strong. Oh, wait a second! Oh, just 1v1 Light in the meantime. Crisp maybe can find something. He's got flash available. He's got red buff, but no! Vampire punts him away. But now Vampire, he's got everything on cooldown. Tarzan flashes towards Arn. Surely he goes down, but Tarzan is the one to fall. A bonus kill before the jungler drops.
Oh, but it's still not a great wave stay. Arn's going to lose a little bit here. He'll be able to teleport back in. The grand scheme of things is somehow 2 for 2. The big loser is GLFS, who loses a lot of jungle farm, and he ends up dying and getting no kill participation on the other side. Arn, once again, a hero, though, for Invictus Gaming. This guy does so much. Wins the 1v1. Gets to combo up with Vampire at the end of this too. He's a level up on Light, and I think that Light really does disrespect the Ziggs early damage. Ends up going straight into him. And yes, the minefield misses, but he's still a level down. He doesn't have himself all of the stats, tries to flash predict, doesn't end up getting it, and even with the Conqueror, can't quite get himself the kill.
Nice flash from On, forces the movement, so he's in range for the passive and gets that final auto in. So Light just getting a little bit outplayed there. On then TP back into that bottom lane as well, so slightly down in CS, lost a lot of CS during that previous play, but ultimately, because he got that kill, he's going to be ever so slightly up in gold.
Yeah. Have to say, IG, you know, I thought that this team would be in really big trouble once they separated Arn and Wink. I think Wink going over to EDG has really helped EDG. The veterancy of both those players, and the duo was so special too. Both were previous AD carries for IG. They were both weirdly Draven players too. IG has a way of collecting them. But Arn, I think, has really flourished even outside of those wings. And Neny does have flash, might have to blow it. No, just distorts back. But still, I think that Arn has just done so much work on the side of IG. He has, for me, been by far their best player and has been doing some magnificent work on the Ziggs as well.
Oh, Neny's in so much trouble here. Distorts away. And actually is not in that much trouble. He's fine. Just W's away and keeps himself safe. Xiaohu does get a tower play in the meantime, and Tarzan just going to help him shove this next wave in as well. Xiaohu off to the races in this one, and all off the back of that level 1 trade.
That's a really pain point as well, because Tarzan gets the passive spread onto him through the E, so the blade starts affecting him, and the extra damage from the E as well. It means that he gets Neny's passive, which means he is now much less safe, has to farm under that turret, and has just been ceding control over to Xiaohu, who has been having, so far, some of his best games of the group stage. I can't believe he's done it for this series. It is such perfect timing for them. Weibo, control in mid lane. Yes, some gold down in bot side because of Arn's wonder plays on the Ziggs, which he's done very, very well on before. Need to see whether Weibo can stop that Ziggs getting online in the same way that Light did before.
Oh, Xiaohu wants to punish Neny, trying to finish the wave using his ultimate vampire here to protect his mid laner, but he's way overstepped for the play. And Tarzan picks up a freebie.
And that, we talked a lot about stakes in this game. That steak has been well and truly barbecued at this point. Vampire goes down, and you like that one, yeah. Griffith going to be at that bot side taking that Gromp. The problem is, when your supports are both roaming and then one of them dies, you just have one less big playmaking tool to work around for your carries. And that means that GLFS is alone in this bot side, watching currently just the Dragon go down for free.
Yeah, it does look like GLFS does want to influence this play, wants to get involved. Like, not willing to step back into Pixel Brush to finish the ward, but that will be Drake going down just about. Weibo grab the objective.
Tarzan no flash.
Can they get out is the question. Tarzan's caught in the back of the pit, not level 6 just yet, and blown to smithereens, as is Crisp. No, shield as he gets over the wall. GLFS flashes to follow. Crisp gets a stun, gets a bit of move speed, but he's so slow, and GLFS will have the dash any second now, but Crisp remounts and he gets out.
The satchel charge brought him closer to the wall, which meant he could hop over. Such close things. And in the last game, it felt like it was a bot-side Dragon skirmish, which led Weibo to a huge snowball victory. IG potentially could have looked for the same, but they couldn't quite manage it. It's going to be the Dragon going over towards Weibo, and not quite the same amount of gold going over to IG as it did to Weibo in that previous game.
So, all things considered, much more even in the early game. IG are contending a little bit better. Weibo still have built themselves a minor gold lead, but it's less than 1,000 for the time being. Tarzan wants to change that fact as he starts those chickens off. Drake was taken. Take another look. His Vampire was the one that started it all off.
Yeah, he died before this play started. Comes through, gets the Ziggs combo 3. Still level 3, by the way. But hey, that's enough. This satchel charge ends up saving Crisp's life, though. So Arn, as much as we praised him, not so great there, and they won't even show the escape because it was too magnificent to be replayed again. You had to be there.
And on top of that, during the replay, Tarzan not only got the chickens, he also takes the red buff away from GLFS. So you can see 12 CS up in the jungle, 3 full camps ahead of his counterpart. And while GLFS does those Krugs on the top side, the grubs have been started by Tarzan, and we all know how fast Brand can finish those off. No chance of contestation from GLFS. So Weibo, all neutral objectives so far in this game. It's looking pretty hunky-dory for them.
Why have we not had a barbecue Brand yet? I feel like that is one of the easiest skins you could do in the game. That's how you make your money, folks. You get barbecue Brand. I would like that.
You could do a whole barbecue series, couldn't you? Because you could have barbecue Rumble as well.
True. We have Leona already. She's got that already. She has the sausage on the sword, which is great.
Yeah. I mean,
I
it could
just
be a
feel like it's
spin-off
great.
from the pool party series, right? Where you've got the people that, you know, the dads all holding their beers around the barbecue talking about
doesn't
sports.
Gangplank already have that in his splash shot? I believe that Pool Party Gangplank already has that one as well. You know, I feel this is great. I feel like we get to see, you know, we let the league champions be happy for once. They get to have a day off from, you know, murder and violence. They get to have a quick meal break. I appreciate that.
I'm going to be honest, if I'm ever at a barbecue and it's a quick meal break, I'm
Oh, yeah.
no longer interested.
Something's failed.
Barbecue's got to last the whole afternoon. I'm not turning up to barbecue just for a quick little snack. I'm there for the day. Never invite me over for a barbecue if you want me to leave again. That's the moral of the story here. As aggressive trades at the top side. Breed doing really, really well in this 1v1 actually on the Renekton.
Yeah, I mean, you expect Renekton to be dominant in the early lane. It's only a 10-15 CS lead as it stands right now, and it is only that one play. This is still within acceptable margins, but you need to make sure it doesn't get beyond this, because if Breathe gets to a point beyond this where he can be a huge mid-game threat at 1 to 2 items, then we start seeing the, you know, the vintage Breathe 369 kind of Renekton performance where they just start popping people in mid-game.
See if he can. Eclipse is finished off. That's a scary moment in any Renekton matchup where suddenly he can dive in and chunk you to almost 0 HP. I don't know if he can quite 100 to 0 a Cassante necessarily, but certainly can start getting work done in the 1v1. We'll see if he can snowball from this point. Tarzan also on the Leandries already is making a meal of this game, isn't he? Almost 1,500 gold up at this point as Dominus in the top side. YSKM the target, all out to try and get to safety here. Breathe had already used the stun though, so YSKM will pull himself out of the play. Ult for ult on the top side, but Tarzan now wants a chance to get involved in the action. glfs is on his way over, as is Vampire and Neny. I don't know if this is a dive the Weibo want to make, and I think they've realized this is not the play.
It's just going to be Breathe looking for... Hey, that's nice. What you can do there is just tank up the Eclipse Shield. You take the first tower shot before it's heated up, and you get yourself a free trade. So that's nice from him. Gone for the Eclipse, of course, over something like that Black Cleaver Thirst. When you've got so much magic damage in your team, you care less about it. Does have the double AD carries, though, so it would be nice to get that if at all possible. We have ourselves some big movements around the map, moving up towards top for that play. Not quite managing to make anything out of it, though. And we're going to return elsewhere onto the map. Next big thing is coming up, Dragon. We've got the second grub spawning just beyond that point too. Arn's been doing well in this laning phase to chunk that out, but now people have moved away from top lane, and now YSKM is in danger.
Yeah, we just repeat the play that we set up earlier. Nice flash from YSKM, but the Pyroclasm will still finish the job. The minions betray him in the top side. That's both summoners now down for him. As a wave crashes, Breathe is going to get probably 2 plates off the back of that.
That's where this matchup breaks apart. We just said, hey, let's make sure that Breathe doesn't get that much further ahead. Okay, now that's a problem. He is that much further ahead now, and he's going for the bursty build. If he gets himself onto these squishy targets in the backline, they are going to absolutely disintegrate. And Tarzan, we talked about him at the start of the day being someone that's done really well on carries in the jungle for Weibo. It helps him with their team fight damage. He wasn't on that in game 1 and still walked away with an MVP. Now he has, you know, 3-2-1 scoreline, 1.5k individual advantage against glfs, or one of his best picks in that Graves as well. I think that Tarzan is completely ready to pop.
That's the tower finished in the top side as well. So Breathe squeezing this advantage free for more. He's 2,000 gold up individually in that top lane. I'm really curious to see what's picked up on the recall. He upgrades his boots and gets a phage on top of it. That is a big old crock in the bot side.
Gotta say, you know, so I was reading some of the post-match comments about Breathe from the Anyone's Legend series last time as well, and there was a lot of negative sentiment towards Breathe. I have to say, though, he did really well at getting that individual advantage and carrying away from it. Couldn't win that game, but maybe this game could be different. I want to see, now with a huge advantage, Breathe start becoming that mid-game monstrous crocodile you can be at this kind of advantage.
Chris has to be a little bit cautious at this point. Just hit level 6 there. Was level 5 against a level 10 Neny. That's not a combo that you can survive. And now level 6 has the Magnet Storm, but I mean, just kind of walks in and dies. Not ideal for the side of Weibo, but Tarzan, not to be deterred, keeps pushing forwards and nearly finishes off Vampire with the True Shot Barrage. Pyroclasm on cooldown at this point as Neny continues to trade, but I mean, at the end of the day, they've just kept on going. They lost their support and didn't even seem to notice. Tarzan continues to push further forwards as Neny now trades onto him. The collateral damage, the bomb dodge. Tarzan is totally unafraid.
He just doesn't care. He walks forward, no mobility. I've got my own 2 feet and a pair of boots on them. That's enough. Xiaohu also playing on the limit there too. He has had much better series, cashed in that cult. While this is happening, Breathe gets himself even more gold out of that bot side and denies more gold to IG as the wave hits that tower. The Herald isn't taken. Yes, there is 1 kill. Someone had to face check that, and I have to say, Chris, even though he does die for the attempt, someone kind of had to. It's not the most egregious death ever. Weibo were in position on a strategic sense to make sure that it didn't matter. Now, what that means is that Weibo, they still have their lanes pushing across the map. IG will have to deal with them, and big problem with IG now is that they are getting to a point where any one of several members from this top side, particularly from Weibo, can just pop off in one of these team fights if they approach it wrong. Yeah, look at the Fog of War. You see everyone around, he tries to dodge out in the minefield, just so happens that there's a LeBlanc on the side of it, but it stops the Herald going completely down, buys Tarzan a little bit of time to get a combo off because some of the combos are down from IG. Xiaohu comes over as well and makes sure that the Herald can't be finished.
I think GLFS was literally about to smite that grub as they despawned for the Herald there. So
yeah.
IG only getting the singular grub off the back of the play. Breathe. TP's into the mix, as does YSKM, and Breathe immediately flashes on top of Neny. He's ignited, and he'll be blasted with a rocket to finish the job. Herald at least for GLFS, but can he get away with his life? The Croc is taken down by the True Shot barrage. True, very much the name on that one, as Light finds his mark again. Vampire falls, and Weibo find another fight.
What did we say? IG, they needed to be aware that any one of these top side members could start popping off in these team fights. This time it's Breathe, instant turnaround. And IG can't fight after that initial burst comes round. They lose themselves the big fight, they lose themselves the Herald, and they're going to lose themselves again. Pressure across the map. They're still getting pushed in across each of these waves, and IG, in a do-or-die match for them, might have just fallen into the same mistake of not knowing when they shouldn't fight. They're not in position to fight at this point. You don't have the great ability to close down everyone. And Breathe, yes, he's a little bit in danger at the start of this, but he's still a level 11 Renekton with so much gold to his name. You can't just walk up to him like that.
Bit of a blunder from Neny there, it has to be said, stepping up as the all-out at least capitalizes on one, but the True Shot barrage, beautifully done alongside, I believe that was a rocket from Xiaohu alongside it to just finish the job, and then Xiaohu cleans up on Vampire too. So really, really nice fight from Weibo, and crucially, Xiaohu picking up 2 of those kills means he's getting even closer towards 2 items at this point. He's 1,000 gold up individually. It's a 3,000 gold lead up top for Breathe, as well as Tarzan being 2k up. And I have to now ask the question, have Weibo just been hustling us this entire time? Like, were they actually a good team after all? And
I was asking that
turned it on.
I was asking that all of last year too. I still don't know the answer. We've watched so many of their games. Breathe, it doesn't have flash, does have ult, probably still dead. What is Vampire doing with that headbutt though?
Oh no,
oh,
no
Vampire,
way.
no!
Vampire has just given Breathe a breath of life here as Neny jumps in. Oh my god, that was a little bit scary, wasn't it? Nearly got 1 shot.
Oh, Vampire, that's some blushes spared there by IG, but it still means that they are delayed in responding to the rest of the map. They're slow to get to this turret, which means that some damage goes down there. It means that because they've committed a lot towards bot side, and then they go back to those lanes, they can't defend the Dragon. IG, they try and attack this insanely fed Renekton, and yes, they do get the kill, that's important, but it is at the cost of tempo. They are going to turn up to the Dragon in time at least.
Dragon resets. Health bar's fairly chunked for Weibo here. Breathe not up for another few seconds, and he doesn't have TP, so this is a man advantage for IG. Weibo, I think the wise play would be to concede here. No TP, remember. Breathe can't be a part of the play, but Weibo still want to take the fight anyway. They're 5,000 gold up, and Xiaohu's just 1v1ing Neny on the top side of the play. IG, though, in the pit. Vampire finds an engage. Light gets out, but Tarzan is down, and Neny got the kill. Huge for them as Xiaohu now on the wrong side of the play, as is Crisp. Breathe has arrived on the scene, and they're still going. Crisp just finds no one and dies. I take it all back, they were not hustling. Weibo are not the ones. Xiaohu gets his TP off and gets out of dodge, but I mean, what was that sequence of play?
I have no idea. Vampire makes up a little bit for his play in that bot side. Great engage onto the carries of Weibo. Tarzan goes down, and he can't be the team fight difference maker. You called out that Breathe didn't have the teleport before that fight. as well. So IG managed to find a window of timing to force Weibo back. Going to go right back to the start of this play. Crisp is looking for an engage. He should realistically just be stood trying to play blocker for his carries, I feel like here. Bit of a mistake from him, and then this is just... I don't know, Crisp. He gets subbed out for one series. He comes back. Good first game, and I suppose maybe just thinks he can get on top of Arn. If he can catch him, maybe something can happen, but it's really hard to get through the Alistair as the Renekton to follow up on that damage. Xiaohu also lucky to get out, but at least he does and can't finish off that kill. Yeah. At least he'll be able to push out the top wave.
I mean, like, you've been criticizing IG for not necessarily knowing when to team fight. I feel like Weibo just falling into the same category, honestly. Like, why on earth are we 4v5ing this?
That's a really good point. Now, it would be okay if Tarzan could get his full combo on someone, but as soon as he's gone, that holds for... I mean, and he might just get comboed on here again, but he's lucky to get out there. Chris, he might be in danger now.
He's galloping away. There's the horse. He's jolting about like crazy. GLFS will... Oh no, Tarzan actually grabbed the Scuttle Crab. That's a bit unfortunate for GLFS. Does mean that the vision cleared away by Weibo. As Breathe now trying to put some pressure on the side lane. Still a 4,000 gold lead in favor of Weibo, but 2 Drakes for IG off of the back of that last one does give them at least some advantage on the map, you know, at least something that they can play towards.
Yeah, it's not going to be as easy as that for Weibo. It looked like with the huge advantages they got through topside, that could just be lights out. It's not quite as easy as that now. I think that with the extra Mountain Dragon going towards particularly that Cassante, that becomes a bit scary. So you need to make sure that they don't keep getting stacked. However, you're about to get the double Muramana transformations for Weibo's carries. That's when I think they start really turning on the afterburners again. Xiaohu has already been really dealing with Neny so well from the early laning phase. Now, Neny's a player which I've given a lot of props to for this group stage. Role swapped from top lane to mid lane, subbed in, subbed out of this roster throughout much of 2023. But this series, he's been targeted, and he might just go down.
As a Seeker's arm guard, that's going to be broken now. Has to flash, will get out with his life. And it's in trade for a TP from Arn and from YSKM as they look for an answer onto Weibo. But the Pyroclasm goes in, and that forces IG away. Breathe now TPs into the play. Pillar of Flame is there. Lots of burn damage out from Tarzan as Breathe just jumps onto the backline. And Arn is almost one shot. There he is, culled along with the rest of the Meek. And IG only 2 remain as Weibo walk towards the Baron.
And they have so much damage available to them. They take a fight just as they get those Muramana transformations, and IG get absolutely obliterated. They don't end up consolidating that side lane. They lose that GLFS. He could look over this, but I don't think there's any hope of him getting a steal.
I feel like he's got to try at this point. That's your last ditch effort.
He's trying.
Really.
He's trying.
He's going to try and get in, but they can just jump on top of him. He's gone. GLFS removed from the equation. Baron taken. Weibo, one mistake from IG, just break this game open.
I think Weibo played around their power spikes magnificently in this fight. Neny, he thinks that with a ward or 2 and a teammate or 2 on his side of the map, he's safe, but they're not in time to get there in time. Vampire's too far away. He's not able to do much, and it means that the teleports have to come in on the other side. They double teleport, but it's just as Xiaohu who transforms his Manamune into the Muramana. He gets so much damage. And then Tarzan, look at the Rylai's and the Leandry's burning down here. This is the power spike of the brand. You can't escape this now, which means you have to go. And it feels bad for Vampire and for YSKM, but it can't do much. And Breathe is the end of his power spike too. How powerful is he at 2 items? That Renekton gets huge value too.
Fantastic stuff from Breathe. Crisp manages to miss another crash down. Or I guess Neny dodged it, to be fair to him. And it's going to be a kill for Breathe. And now with Baron and a bonus pick onto Neny, it has to be said, Neny, this is one of the worst games we've seen from him this split, to be honest. He's consistently been out of position on this LeBlanc. And it's a sad way for this group stage to end for IG. There was some real high highs for them, but Weibo looked like categorically the better team here. Crisp perhaps caught out as the Pyroclasm goes on through all out. Actually brings Crisp towards his teammates, and he gets out with his life. The burn's going through. Xiaohu dives into the base. Next on the chopping block, and it's an ace in the base.
Weibo are looking the best they've done all summer so far, and IG have just been blown away to the wind. The team which we thought was on the up and up comes up against the consistently inconsistent giants of the LPL. And Weibo, with that kind of advantage, they should be able to, with a 10,000 gold lead, be able to roll over Invictus Gaming and ride that wave into a upper Group A finish from group stage.
I think a lot of people home are furious with this potential result, with how Weibo have looked during this group stage. But today, on the final day, when it matters the most, it feels like they have stepped up. It feels like Tarzan's had a fantastic day. It feels like Breathe on this Renekton is having a bit of a statement game. Had one kind of awkward death earlier, but aside from that, looking good. Light great on the Ezreal. Xiaohu really putting pressure onto Neny in that mid lane. Feels like a changed team today. And let's just hope that, you know, assuming that they do make it into that upper group, let's just hope they can keep this kind of performance up.
I know better than to trust Weibo, but hey, we'll keep it there all the same. Teleporting onto the wave towards topside, only 20 seconds left of that Baron buff. It's likely just to be that one inhib. And out, Vampire goes in, but the combo dodged away from slickly by Light.
Xiaohu just pressuring in the mid lane in the meantime. Nearly finishes that tower off. Super's starting to stack up in the bottom side as Neny. He doesn't get to play the game. He does not even get a look in on this one. Back to Fountain he goes as Weibo pressure all three lanes. The super minions are now crashing with the Nexus tower. Somebody's got to deal with that. It's not like anyone on this composition is even particularly good at dealing with super minions. As now the mid lane inhib tower goes down, as does glfs as HP bar. Vampire forced away. I mean, Weibo, there's just no way they can be fought. It's a wallet diff right now. The bomb from Arn will send them away, but that's 2 inhibs.
Yeah, the damage is done. Yeah, sure, you stop them from ending the game. That's nice. That is, in fairness, a positive. But you don't end up gaining anything from this. You're still bleeding out gold. You can see that Vampire. We called this from the draft. It's really hard to be the sole engaged threat because all people have to do is just watch for you. There is no real threat on the rest of this team. It means that Light always gets to walk away completely fine. I think Griffith is very lucky there that there's no combo up from Tarzan. It was just used on the Wolves. Dragon is alive. IG might go towards that. But the problem is, it's not Mount and Soul. And if they leave their base, they might just lose the game. It could be another Dragon for Nexus trade. Weibo, I think they are more than set up to take this game home.
That feel when you just use your smite on the Wolves and Tarzan's taking your blue. glfs now going to be chased down the lane. He wanted a Gromp, he wanted a blue buff. All he'll find is death, stepping way too far out. And I think that might just be all she wrote.
IG, they have really been shown just not to understand how to play side lanes in this game. They've been slow to defend Neny. Neny's been out of position. They've been slow to defend everyone, and Neny, he's going to fall. Bad
to worse here for the solo laners of IG. And, well, Neny specifically, it's unfair to lump YSK in there.
He's 5.5k down!
I mean, yeah, he's not had a great game. Let's be honest, I don't want to single anyone out on IG because it's not been a great game for the whole team, to be honest. Poor Arn, struggling away on this Ziggs here, is now Weibo pushing underneath the Nexus towers. It's an easy fight win. It's an easy game for them. 20-9, an under 30-minute win as they force the Nexus down. Tarzan hides behind the minions. The shotgun can't find anything. 25 stacks as Weibo will qualify for the upper group in the second stage of the LPL.
I cannot believe we saw this Weibo again. I cannot believe this keeps happening. How do they keep getting away with it? This team, Weibo, why can't we have this for the whole of the group stage? Why can't we see how they played today, how they played against anyone's legend when they beat them in that series as well? I want to see this team do well, but I don't want to have to deal with the fact that this team is firing on, it feels like, not even half its cylinders for the majority of the series. This is a great series today. I loved how they played through laning phase. I love how Tarzan played through early game. I loved how they played through side lanes later on with both of their solo lanes. Xiaohu and Breathe had incredible performances. I think this is an overall diff in every single role. But why can't we see this more?